General Hospital today will reveal the latest developments in General Hospital have taken a dark and unsettling turn, raising serious questions about Willow Kane's moral compass and emotional stability. Once perceived as a compassionate mother caught in the crossfire of a fractured family, Willow is now teetering on the edge of dangerous desperation. The spoiler-filled week of February 2nd through 6th reveals a version of Willow that few saw coming. A woman willing to use threats, emotional blackmail, and possibly even emotional harm to innocent children in her obsessive bid to regain custody of Wiley and Amelia. Her recent actions have shocked both allies and enemies, especially as she returns her fury toward Alexis Davis, leveraging Alexis' most vulnerable pressure points, her grandchildren, Danny Morgan and Scout Quartermain. Willow's tension to seek help from Alexis may have started as a plea rooted in maternal anguish, but it has quickly spiraled into something darker. Alexis, a seasoned attorney and a woman no stranger to morally complex situations, finds herself cornered when Willow presents an ultimatum that is cruel as it is calculated. By allowing Scout to stay with Alexis temporarily, Willow appears cooperative on the surface, but that cooperation comes with a hidden threat. If Alexis refuses to assist in her custody battle, Willow implies that Scout will be forbidden from seeing her half-brother Danny. It's a ruthless move that not only targets Alexis's heart but also sets the stage for emotional trauma between two children who share an unbreakable sibling bond. Alexis understands all too well the emotional damage such forced separation could inflict, not just on the children, but on herself and her entire extended family. This revelation casts Willow in an entirely new light, not merely as a mother fighting for her children, but as someone increasingly unhinged, consumed by obsession, and indifferent to collateral damage. The timing of Willow's manipulation only deepens the sense of menace. Her boldness comes on the heels of Drew Kane's devastating stroke, an incident she was widely believed to have indirectly caused. Drew now suffers from locked-in syndrome, a nightmarish condition in which he is fully aware but unable to move or communicate. Rather than express remorse, Willow seems to be growing more emboldened, more willing to cross lines that were once unthinkable. Her transformation raises urgent questions. Is this behavior the result of untreated grief and anxiety, or is it the unraveling of a much darker side that has been festering beneath the surface? The fact that Willow would use Alexis's grandchildren as pawns in her custody campaign suggests a capacity for cruelty that borders on sociopathic. She isn't merely threatening legal retaliation. She's emotionally weaponizing children to break Alexis's resistance. As the situation escalates, the broader implications become even more chilling. If Willow succeeds in intimidating Alexis, what comes next? Will she continue down this path using those around her as stepping stones to reclaim what she believes is rightfully hers? And if Alexis refuses to yield, if she chooses moral integrity over compliance, will Willow retaliate by isolating Danny from Scout entirely, severing the emotional lifeline that has helped both children navigate their turbulent young lives? For Alexis, the stakes have never been higher. She is being forced to choose between enabling Willow's dangerous descent or risking the emotional devastation of the children she loves. The entire situation feels like a ticking time bomb, one that could detonate at any moment, leaving irreversible scars on everyone involved. What is perhaps most disturbing is the implication that Willow may not stop with threats alone. Her willingness to manipulate, isolate, and punish even those closest to her suggests that she may no longer recognize the line between righteous anger and calculated vengeance. In her mind, losing custody is equivalent to losing her identity, and anyone who stands in her way becomes an enemy to be neutralized, no matter the cost. This twisted logic places not just Alexis, but also Danny and Scout directly in her line of fire. It forces longtime viewers to grapple with a terrifying possibility. That Willow Kane, once the moral center of many GH storylines, is now fully capable of inflicting lasting harm on innocent children, if only to satisfy her own desperate need for control. In a show built on emotional complexity, shifting alliances, and buried secrets, Willow's descent into psychological warfare is perhaps one of the most gut-wrenching developments to date. It's not just about custody anymore. It's about identity, obsession, and a willingness to destroy what you claim to love. The audience is left to wonder whether Alexis will fight back, whether Danny and Scout can remain safe, and ultimately, whether there's anything left of the Willow who once inspired sympathy and grace. The line between mother and monster has never been so dangerously thin. Willow's descent into desperation continues to alarm those around her, especially as her tactics grow increasingly manipulative and emotionally destructive. Despite repeated warnings and mounting consequences, she seems determined to pursue her custody battle by any means necessary, even if it means weaponizing those who were once her closest allies. One of the most chilling developments is her calculated pressure on Alexis Davis, who has made it clear she wants no part in the emotional chaos Willow is creating. Yet Willow, unwilling to accept rejection, knows exactly how to twist the knife by bringing up a secret that Alexis has been trying to manage quietly: the recent violation of the no-contact order between Danny and Scout. Alexis has worked hard to provide a safe and nurturing environment for her grandchildren, especially in the wake of the trauma and legal complications that have plagued their extended family. She has respected the boundaries that were put in place even when they felt unfair or emotionally punishing. But Willow has now made it clear that she holds the power to destroy that fragile sense of peace. By threatening to expose Danny's contact with Scout, Willow reminds Alexis that any slip-up, however well-intentioned, could be used against her. It's a cruel maneuver, one that puts Alexis in an impossible position: either cave to Willow's demands and compromise her ethics, or risk a scandal that could hurt the very children she is trying to protect. The emotional weight of the situation is crushing. No one wins if the violation becomes public, especially not Danny and Scout, who have already endured more than most children their age. Their bond is one of the few sources of stability left in their turbulent world, and Willow's threat to sever or exploit it reveals just how far she is willing to go. It's not just about regaining custody anymore. It's about punishing those she believes stood in her way, even if the collateral damage includes innocent children. Her growing sense of entitlement blinds her to the emotional havoc she is causing. What's most disturbing is that Willow doesn't seem to care who gets hurt as long as she wins. For Alexis, the conflict has become unbearable. She knows that giving in to Willow could mean sacrificing her moral compass, yet refusing to comply could trigger a domino effect that might result in public scrutiny, court involvement, and psychological harm to the grandchildren she cherishes. As a grandmother, Alexis has always prioritized Danny and Scout's well-being above all else. Her instinct is to protect, to heal, to guide, but Willow is exploiting that instinct, turning it into a weapon. Alexis is trapped between the woman she once wanted to help and the reality of who Willow has become: a mother, consumed by obsession, unrecognizable in her cold calculations and manipulative resolve. What remains now is an uneasy standstill, Alexis holding on to her principles, Willow tightening her grip on secrets that could unravel lives. This isn't just a legal fight or a custody disagreement anymore. It's an emotional war zone, and Willow is determined to win at all costs. The danger is no longer abstract. It's real, immediate, and focused directly on the emotional health of two children who deserve far better than to be pawns in a battle that no longer makes sense. Whether Alexis can navigate this storm without sacrificing her integrity or her grandchildren's safety remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: Willow is not backing down, and the damage she's willing to inflict could leave lasting scars. Willow Kane's descent into moral ambiguity has reached a dangerous turning point, as her approach to reclaiming her children becomes less about maternal love and more about ruthless control. No longer the empathetic nurse who once inspired sympathy and admiration, Willow has transformed into a hardened strategist willing to play hardball with anyone who gets in her way. Her latest move suggests a woman who is not only determined to win, but unafraid to use manipulation, coercion, and even threats involving innocent children to secure her desired outcome. One of the most troubling implications is that Alexis Davis may soon be forced to do something she has always dreaded: plead with Michael Corinthos, the father of Willow's children, for a compromise that might spare Danny and Scout from further trauma. For Alexis, the situation is unbearable. She has already been emotionally cornered by Willow, who cruelly dangled the threat of separating Danny and Scout as leverage. The next phase of Willow's plan appears to be pushing Alexis into a confrontation with Michael, someone who is known for his volatility and protective instincts. Michael, already grappling with the chaos surrounding Drew's condition and his family's fraying ties, may not react well to being placed in a position of power over two children who were never meant to be pawns in this escalating war. And yet Willow is counting on precisely that pressure point. She's banking on Alexis's love for her grandchildren, hoping that it will force her to go to Michael and beg on her knees if necessary for a truce that allows Danny and Danny 5 Scout to stay connected even as Willow sharpens her grip over Amelia and Wiley. The thought of Alexis having to humble herself before Michael is heartbreaking, not because of pride, but because of principle. Alexis has spent a lifetime walking the fine line between legal duty and maternal instinct, and she knows the costs of surrendering to people who use fear as currency. But if she refuses, Willow may very well pull the trigger on her threat to expose Danny's violation of the no-contact order, a move that could upend the lives of both children and invite court-ordered consequences neither of them deserve. It's a no-win situation crafted by someone who once swore to do no harm. And therein lies the most unsettling irony. Willow is a nurse.